Alright guys, in today's video we're back on the GS550 and we're putting on some small compact turn signals to ditch the stock real large, real ugly turn signals, so stick around. Alright guys, so we're on the 550 here, and the next thing I want to do before I really start riding this thing is go ahead and just replace these stock turn signals. You know, they're huge. They're from the 80s, 70s designs. So anyway, what I have are just some simple budget speed metal, some oval turn signals. They're like 20 bucks a pair. They're nothing fancy. They are a traditional filament. I didn't go with an LED because I just didn't feel like having that extra $12 cost for like an LED flasher relay. So these are going to be real simple. On the rears, I'm going to go ahead and just remove this bracket here, and then we'll just mount them right there on the stock, basically the stock location. Up front, might get a little bit more involved. I'm going to put them in the stock spot, but I'm not sure how big the hole is right here, so if we have to use like some washers and just make it work, you know, we'll be fine. And then, yeah, eventually, not this video, but I do want to remove this piece, but that's going to happen whenever I do tires. So anyway, I'm going to go ahead and pull the forks off and, you know, eventually do that. Anyway, this one's going to be real simple. I'm going to get to work. Alright, the first little hang up here is the hole is just ever so slightly too small, which is not a big deal. So almost go in, but I'm just gonna run the drill bit through that and we'll be good to go. Now the wiring I know is gonna be a little bit too short, so I'll make like an extension harness for this, and that'll just make getting this on there a little bit easier. What I'll probably end up doing as well is I don't know, I'll probably just wrap the wire around and come back up through here. I don't really feel like doing another grommet or something, you know, through the fender. You know, I just want to keep this simple and just get it done. So anyway, I'm gonna go ahead, grab a drill bit, open these up, maybe scrub that down a little bit, and then we'll get these mounted. Alright, so I went ahead and just opened up that hole a little bit. Put these in. These are not left, right specific or anything like that, so not a big deal there. Well, I say they're not left, right specific. They're really not, but there is a little tang here that you can pry the cap off with. So I'm going to choose to have that on the bottom, meaning that this one's going to go on the right. Alright, here we go. Alright, so quick change of plans. Instead of doing an extension harness, I'm going to go ahead and just extend the harness that are on the turn signals already. So I'm going to go ahead and just use some 20 gauge wire, which is, you know, might seem kind of light. This is TXL, so this is really high quality stuff, and the lights are only flashing for like a second. So we're going to have no problems running 20 gauge on this. And yeah, so I'll just run orange for one side, green on the other. We'll put a bullet or a bullet connector on one end and solder the other end to the light. We'll be good to go. So they're $20 lights. I don't care about modifying them. So anyway, that's going to save me time, and I'm going to use half of the connectors that I would have. So I'm going to get started on just extending these. All right, so we're just getting these things soldered up, and the way I'm doing this is the factory Suzuki wiring has, for the left side, it has black with white, which is common between left and right, and then it uses a signal as the black. And so this side we just have, two black wires. So it doesn't really matter because these turn signals are universal, so you can actually flip the polarity there, and it doesn't matter. They light up anyway. So continuing with that, I wanted to differentiate, so I'm going to use the stripe wire on here. Since I don't have stripe wire to add, I'm just adding the corresponding color. So for the right side, the signal is green. So I'm going to use the stripe side as signal, and then black, just continuing to black there. So I've already done a solder connection, and then heat shrink, and I'm going to put one more section of heat shrink over the two joints just to add a little bit of stability. And then from there, run them forward, and then we will go ahead and put butt connectors on them. So pretty straightforward. I definitely cut way too much wire off. I don't know what I was thinking. I'm just being wasteful at this point. So anyway, we'll get it figured out though. Run these up. Alright, so that works there. Nice and tidy. Alright, so our short ones are going to be the left turn signal. Alright, next up, we finish them off. Alright, so these super simple 2-wire turn signals about stumped old BJ here. Put on the rears and could not get them to work. I actually ended up popping one of the fuses, and I'm like, I know they're wired right. I've tested the lights. It doesn't matter which polarity it is. But, I figure, okay, well, newer light, maybe it has less current draw. So I went and picked up a flasher relay. Well, that didn't fix it. So I eventually got it working on the relay, messing with the ground, and I ended up changing the polarity of the taillights in the rear, or the wires. So where I would have my signal and then the power, however you want to put it, I just reversed them, and then it started working. So I'm like, okay. So in the meantime, I had put on the fronts. And I can switch these any which way, and it doesn't matter. The lights still work. So I'm like, that's weird. Because if I switch the polarity on the rears, I'm like, that's weird. It didn't work. So then I'm like, okay, well, I'll try this. Put it on the stock flasher relay, still works. I'm like, okay. So what I have found is the body of the turn signal. Check this out. So the body of this turn signal, you know, the threaded portion is heading through the frame and fender, meaning it's contact with metal, so it's like grounding itself basically. Not that it won't work without that ground, but that has affected it. So these front turn signals are mounted on a rubber bushing. So what I did is I'm testing the polarity. It didn't make a difference, but as soon as I put a ground signal to the back terminal on here, just to the body, then it makes the same symptoms as the rear. Makes it really confusing. So anyway, I have to wire them like reversed how I originally planned in the back, and then I have to match that for the front. So basically I'm going striped wire to the striped wire, which is whatever. It's so simple. I just didn't think I'd have a problem with that. It's the simple stuff. I don't know, I guess maybe I just was overly confident. They're just turn signals. I've wired so many of these. But yeah, didn't think about the body grounding on a 2-wire. Whatever. We're gonna figure it out though. Almost done. Alright, so here we go. We're finally done here. It took, of course, far longer than expected. Let's go left signal. This is the stock flasher pattern. So works slightly slower, but that's fine. Just ever so slightly. You see the brightness here. And of course still the bulb up on the dash. It's probably not coming through the camera, but they're actually really bright. So happy with those. And then as of now, this thing, you see all of the weight, all of this that we've got rid of. It's pretty much a race bike now, fully customized. So if anybody wants to buy this bike, because these turn signals, I think starting bid's probably at like $13,000 or something like that. But yeah, pretty much a race bike. I mean, you can think of these things are like swoop, so we have just the most awesome aerodynamics. So it's probably going to be like a full, I don't know, probably like 3 seconds faster in the quarter, I'd say. So that's pretty awesome. Yeah. Yeah, it's a race bike now. Cafe racer. Oh yeah. Anyway, keeping it simple. Having fun with it. Alright guys, that does it for this one. I definitely really like the smaller turn signals on any bike, but especially this one, which had those factory bulky units on it. Looks a whole hell of a lot better. So yep, this thing's about ready to go. I'm going to go ahead and knock out some test miles on it today. We're just doing a little bit more shakedown before it's really ready for the season. And there's definitely more updates to come on this thing on multiple fronts. As far as the turn signals are concerned, should have been a simple project, but I excel in making things extra difficult. That's probably one of my unique skills. So yeah, anyway, pay attention how you wire them. Anyway, definitely subscribe if you haven't. There's a variety of projects and content on this channel, whether it be reviving an old bike like this. You know, you saw the CB750 barn find. Hopefully we'll hang on to that thing and it'll come back around next year. We have custom builds of different variety, and we have adventure rides. So anyway, definitely subscribe, stick around if you want to see more. And if you want to support Brickhouse Builds even further, you can go to my website, just brickhousebuilds.com. I have t-shirts, hats, hoodies, I have the sticker packs on there now, and that really helps out. So anyway, I appreciate you sticking with it this long, and I hope to see you in the next video. Thanks for watching.